Okay, hey everyone, welcome to a brand new podcast. Today I have a special guest called Kwebbelkop, also known as Jordi, who was one of the most famous YouTubers, but has recently changed his career into something that is very different than usual, called virtual YouTubers. What is quite an interesting take for someone who does YouTube automation as a full-time gig. So yeah, tell me a little bit more first about yourself. Just who are you? Just for the audience to know exactly a little bit more of your life story, how it went.
Sure, yeah. My name's Jordi. We've known each other for, 8 years?
Yeah, 8-9 years. It's crazy.
Long time. About 10 years ago, I started uploading videos on YouTube. Just very much passion-driven. I just wanted to make YouTube videos. I wanted to entertain people and just have fun in the process. And that just turned into a full-blown career. I ended up building a team and posting videos every single day for 10 years.
Yeah.
And very quickly did I discover that I had a very big passion for entrepreneurship, starting companies, running companies, and slowly my focus shifted more towards running a business rather than just simply being an influencer. And with that came some very interesting challenges. For example, being able to delegate all of my tasks, and slowly did I switch more towards virtual influencers, running other people's pages, and also making video games.
Yeah, so you got a lot of companies right now. So like you said before, we've known each other for about 8 years, pretty much since the beginning. I've known you well under 100,000 subscribers from H Network. Well, it was a really old YouTube network that we were both sort of working for. You were a content creator. I was there behind the scenes doing a lot of stuff. And yeah, basically that way you've grown a lot. So going back to automating stuff and getting into that entrepreneurship. So probably the first task that pretty much every YouTuber does, I assume that the first thing you outsourced was the editing.
Correct.
How was that?
Yeah, it was very strange. This was back when no one used editors and it was frowned upon to use editors. So there was a day where he was like, "You're a YouTuber, you need to do everything yourself, and it's just you. The whole channel is just you." And then I ended up going to Seattle. Because PewDiePie hit me up and he goes, "Yo, come to Seattle, let's chat, let's have a good time, and let's talk business." So I flew out to Seattle. I'm having dinner with PewDiePie and a bunch of other massive YouTubers, and I'm there like, yo, okay, I had to work ahead of schedule. I had to make tens of videos. I'm like burnt out sitting here. Yeah. But everything is going live because I wanted to post daily. And I did everything myself, and I look at Felix and I'm like, oh, this guy, his editing is phenomenal. He does such a good job. And he just goes, "So, Mark, how are your editors?" And I'm like, what?
Which editors?
These guys have editors? And that's when I realized, okay, so a lot of people say they don't have editors or they don't talk about it, but they do. And that's when I started hiring editors and then eventually a thumbnail artist, people coming up with video ideas. And before you knew it, I delegated every single task.
Yeah. So at the beginning, you started with the editing outsourced and then the thumbnail artists. Till how many people did you have in your peak? So once you were getting over the 100 million viewers a month?
Not even that many people. I think only 10.
Okay, that's really reasonable.
Yeah, and I started getting a lot of headache once I started scaling it up more.
Yeah, I can assume that because managing people is a hard thing to do.
Yeah, so not only did I have to install proper managers, but I also realized you get a lot less one-on-one time and more people start making more mistakes. You might hire someone who looks like he's doing a good job, but when you actually look at it, he's not. Yeah. 10 people was when I was hitting the most amount of views, and I think I was spending an hour a day on the channel. That's it.
That's really good.
That's crazy, yeah.
Yeah, because if you spend more time than that, you start losing your personal life. Mm-hmm. And that's something that I've been struggling with, is that once I started hiring more and more and more people, till the point right now in all my companies we have over 50 people working for me, is you don't spend the time for yourself anymore. You're consistently busy with checking up on others' mistakes and making sure you avoid them. So what was your number one trick or switch that you were like, I need to watch these certain skills in someone? And what were those skills in order to make sure
you need some advice?
Yeah, well, pretty much. I want this conversation to be as natural as possible, and I want to go into my mistakes, if they're reasonable, as well with your mistakes, because I've known you for 8+ years. I've seen that scale up. I know you've been into the Ethereum company with the NFT hype that we had. You were recently talking about virtual YouTubers. Gone a little bit in depth to that. I've watched about 50 videos of Blue just to understand a little bit of how it works. Also done about 5 hours to 10 hours of research into AI with YouTube, what is allowed and what isn't allowed. Because in the beginning, in about 2016, there was also another trick known that you could pretty much duplicate videos. So you use a video render software, and it literally made the exact same video, but it changed to 1 pixel. So you could upload a video 60 times in one go, and then just try and see which one goes the most viral, and the rest you just remove. So, but YouTube caught on to that. It wasn't allowed. It wasn't a good thing. But then you go into that AI where even if you write scripts to upload automatically on YouTube, you will get terminated for that. So your main goal is to make those AI influencers. Let's go a little bit more into depth in that. How did you even
skipping the management?
Well, we can do the management thing. Yes, let's first keep it on that thing. So the management thing. So what was the number one skills that you were searching for when you were scaling up? Like the mistakes you made and the things that went right.
So definitely the biggest lesson was that once my company hit 50 people, I read a bunch of articles about it, like, oh, your company breaks at 50 people. I'm like, no way, that's gonna happen to me. And then it broke, and I'm like, how? What did I do wrong? And the answer is simple: you need managers. At 50 employees, you need to have managers who are competent, who are able to understand the vision, and who are able to act accordingly too. So right now we're about, I would say, 70 to 80 employees. And the key here is to have good executives along your side, and then to have good managers under the executives who then control the teams. So that when you're having a conversation, you either talk to executives or you talk to managers, but you don't necessarily need to do the one-on-ones. And that's more of necessary for the HR department. And that's also another thing. You need HR if you're 50 plus employees.
Because you don't have the time anymore to spend an hour per person per week, because if you have 70 people, that's 70 hours a week.
Impossible.
You need just to talk to people. It's impossible. So with your directors, how many directors do you have at the moment?
You mean executives?
Executives, yes.
Yeah, so one director, which is just me. But then we're currently at 3 executives.
Okay.
So one financial. And then me as the CEO. And then we have one COO. And my COO was very much my sparring partner. So, you know, he knows everything about the business, and so do I. And whenever there's a situation in the business, I'm always sparring with him. So we're always like, hey, I had this idea. And he goes, I had this idea. And then he'll tell me I'm stupid, or I tell him he's stupid. And we fight about it. And then we're like, okay, this is the solution. Let's try it. And then the financial one is much more about, okay, well, we got to pay some taxes, or here's some things you forgot about, or have you guys looked at that, or the systems
like we started beforehand as well, with like regulations that are changing. You have to keep it up to date. You have to get the right people in place, because otherwise, well, you have tax fraud, what we don't want. So you don't need the right people.
Well, my main concern in the past was to accidentally not comply. Right. So I always thought, hey, I have a good financial guy who's on the case. And then you start looking at it and you're like, whoa, some things are not correct here. And then you're like, oh no. And then you let someone else look at it and he goes, yep, that's 90% of it is just a mess. I can clean it up for you. Like, okay, go for it. But imagine someone comes knocking on the door and then says, hey, you forgot all these boxes. And you look at that guy and he goes, well, I don't know anything about it. That's your responsibility. So it's some interesting stuff that you really don't think about. And culture is another interesting one. I never really thought like company culture. So I never really understood it until I started really focusing on it. But you know, there's this thing floating around in your company that you can't really grasp. You can't really touch it. But it's the way that people act with each other, the way that how they look at the company, how they feel about the company, and that's very much company culture. And I very quickly also realized that you really want to nurture that, because at one point, let's say I went on holiday for 2 weeks and I said, hey, the keys go to one of the managers. You just make sure the company keeps running. I'd come back and it would just be a bro culture, and it's like, yo, bro, and there's like beers everywhere and people are doing things that you're not supposed to do at the office. And then I realized, okay, well, I guess the company just changed culture-wise, or was already like that, but just not with me when I was there. So I really, really nurtured that. You're thinking like diversifying your team. Older people, younger people, people who are not only Dutch people, but people from all over the world. Boys, girls, you name it. You want to have everything, right? Because in my opinion, that's when you get the most normal culture. If you only have guys who are 20 years old,
then you get a lot
who
of
live on their own
ADHD
and who
people.
love going to the gym, you're gonna get the bro culture. It's more of like a rugby team. So those were things to really keep in mind, and some very interesting lessons that I learned over the past year and a half.
Okay, and what was the number one lesson you learned in that place? And what did you do to make sure it wasn't a bro culture and just a normal, regular place? What was the number one trick that you changed in order to make sure that everything was as fluent as possible?
Hire an experienced HR person.
Okay, so that pretty much that.
So that I don't want to experiment with it because it can just go catastrophic. So I just went, okay, well, we need a really good HR person. Let's hire this person, and let's just say it's your responsibility that the company culture is healthy and results in the best possible outcome for the company.
Yeah. So what is his or her main task, what she does from a weekly to weekly basis?
Yeah. Having one-on-one conversations with people, but also setting up contracts, making like a rule book. So like, what are the things, what are the do's, what are the don'ts? And if there are HR situations, to make sure that they are taken care of, right? So for example, a basic one could be that two coworkers had an argument. And thankfully it didn't escalate, but there was an altercation, to make sure that the impact of this altercation doesn't seep into other departments which have nothing to do with it, right? Because you could be working with your team and then two people who you never talk to are having a massive argument in the hallway, and that can really impact those employees and those teams and their products. So that's what HR is for. HR then makes sure that like, hey, okay, first of all, let's make sure that the situation's taken care of, that they're okay with each other again. Yeah. And then let's also make sure that everyone who potentially witnessed this event is also informed that maybe it was a complete accident or whatever it was, right?
Yeah, the situation has been solved and everyone can continue like normal.
Exactly. And if that's not taken care of, it can escalate into an even bigger altercation the next time and an even bigger one after that, right?
Until it starts breaking down and you're left with nothing.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, that's very catastrophic.
Yeah, but that's the main point you're trying to avoid by hiring such a person that makes sure that the relationships within the company are going the right way.
Exactly, so that everyone in the company feels good and everyone comes to work with a positive attitude and enjoys their job and can express themselves creatively and is just happy with the workplace.
Just a happy environment
exactly.
overall.
So that's really what HR does.
Okay, so you got your executive partner where you're just sparring with. Then you have your HR department that makes sure all the relationships are in order. Then I assume, since you said you have 3 people in the top, which is the last one?
The financial one.
The financial one. Okay, so you got financial, HR, and then your co-partner where you spar with.
Yes, but he's also he's a chief operating officer, so
CFO.
COO.
COO, sorry.
Yes, so he also makes sure that the entire day-to-day operations running smoothly. So not only are we discussing strategy for the company and the business and everything around it, but we also get down to it, right? Like we go into the field and we make sure that every employee is doing what they're supposed to do. And if there is an HR situation there, we make sure that HR tackles it. If this person needs to be trained, we make sure someone trains this person. If this person simply just needs a little bit of guidance because I don't know why.
Sometimes
we take care
someone
of it
just
too.
needs it or forgets something, needs to relearn something.
Yeah, or
It's
someone
just-
just needs that, sometimes someone really needs you to sit next to him for, I don't know, an hour, and then go, this is what you're supposed to do. Okay, well, like that. Okay, no one ever told me.
Yeah, most likely. But it's the same thing, like, I assume since you've been outsourcing editing as well, it's like, if you need to go back into it, you need to relearn it. Things change, programs change.
Yeah, but you pick it up quick.
Yeah, true. So that's interesting. So we are done discussing with the 3 executives. Then we go to the managers. What is the manager's main or her main tasks? What do they do, and when do they report into the executive area?
Yeah. So the managers, they are fully responsible, and that's another important part. You want to have responsibilities within your company. They are fully responsible for their project. So, for example, let's say Blue. Our virtual influencer. Blue has one manager, and that manager is responsible for the performance of Blue.
Yeah.
Which means that if, let's say, not enough videos are uploaded, we don't blame anyone in the team.
You blame the manager.
We blame the manager.
Yeah, because he should be running the team.
Exactly, and the manager needs to take responsibility. If a department's underperforming and not hitting the goals that we set, we blame the manager.
Yeah.
And obviously, it's not like we blame the manager, it's your fault. No, it's everyone's fault. It's my fault as much as it's the manager's fault.
Of course.
So that also means that we talk to the managers on a weekly to bi-weekly basis to just check, hey, how are things going? And then company-wide, we have all the managers presenting everything they have once a month. So all the managers will go, well, here are the results, here's the data, here are the views. And
this is the performance.
This is the performance, and these are our main goals that we're going to be focusing on, and this is why the performances are good, or this is why the performances are not so good.
Yeah.
Another manager, for example, the craziest manager of them all is his name's Amir, and he is the one in charge of our video game company.
Yeah.
And he has about 30 people he manages.
Jesus. That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot, and it's crazy how he does it. But the beauty is that he has 30 people, and I'm just so amazed by how he runs it, because it's just such a smooth operation and everyone loves it. So every week we have a little chit chat, and sometimes it's like, hey, let's just go for a walk and let's brainstorm. Yeah. And sometimes it's like, okay, Jordy, here's a massive Excel sheet. Let's go walk through every dollar that we're going to be spending in the next year and a half. I made an entire budget for it. Are we missing something? And I'm like, yeah, you're missing these numbers. Or he'll go, Jordy, I don't have anything else to report, so let's just play the game that we're working on for an hour and just give me feedback. So that's what the managers do, and then towards the executives. Yeah. And then what they do towards their team is they make sure that everyone understands, hey, these are your responsibilities, these are the deadlines, and this is the quality that we're trying to hit.
Yeah. That's pretty much
That's it. That's
the company structure. Yeah. Then another question. Since you have a lot of companies, what are all your companies at the moment, if you're willing to disclose?
Yes. So the umbrella company is called JVDB Studios.
Yes.
Jordy van den Bussen Studios, which is my name.
Yeah,
and then under this, we have a few different departments. So first of all, the most obvious one is my kwebbelkop socials.
Yeah.
Is what everyone knows me for. It's also funny enough, the one everyone judges me on.
Yeah, but that's the one that's most popularly known. So that's the one people judge you on.
It's pretty much, it's like 15 to 20. No, it's like 20% of what I do, right? It may be even less, 15%.
Yeah, it's not your main thing anymore.
No, it hasn't been for years.
Yeah, because that has been... with the exposed videos, that has been drastically going down and down and down. And then looked literally this morning, and I was like, I saw videos with like 3,000 viewers, and I was like,
exactly,
how did that even happen? 15 million subscribers, 3,000 viewers.
Yeah.
That's insane. But I've known as well that on the back end you were working on this blue thing.
Yeah.
And that has been popping off. And the good thing with that is you don't have to be involved at all.
Exactly.
So that's the power.
So we got the kwebbelkop on YouTube. And then next to that, I also have my other socials. So Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, which TikTok's like one of my favorites. There's short form content I really like nowadays. It's also funny. I spent like like my team spends like a week making a YouTube video and it gets like 50,000, 100,000 views, and then I make a TikTok in literally 5 minutes and we're like 3 million views. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, okay. I saw this trend and I was literally thinking of copying it. I didn't do it, but it was this trend that you had where you were laying. Oh yeah, there was with the. Sound maybe really stupid for people hearing this. With the S trend, where you had like your personality, and with the personality, you had like all the play buttons in the P form.
Yeah.
To it. I was like, I'm literally one of the only person who could also make that, and I was like, that's such a good one, and it got like millions of likes.
Yeah,
I saw it and was like at 3.6 million. I've no idea what it has now. I was like, Jesus, that's popping off.
Exactly, and that was. I think you only saw that on TikTok.
I only saw it on TikTok.
We also posted it on Instagram and YouTube Reels or YouTube Shorts.
Yeah,
and it went crazy there too, right? Or another funny one was like waiting for GTA 6 to come out. It's just me standing there,
literally standing there with the background.
I think it got like 10 million views total.
But that's insane.
That's a crazy thing of Shorts, and I really feel like things are moving there. Much more. But we'll get to that in a second. So that's my public company, my very public company everyone knows me about. And then throughout the years, I started this virtual influencer company where I said, okay, well, can I copy the kwebbelkop success and pretty much outsource it to an entire team and make the brand a virtual avatar.
Yeah.
And at first it sounded crazy and I had no idea how to do it. And then, the longer that I went in, focused on it, the more I invested into it, I realized, it actually works. And funnily enough, every dollar that I invested into it, I made back.
Yeah.
Right. So at first it was like
you were pouring money into that.
I was pouring money into it. The numbers I heard
were crazy. I was like, Jesus Christ, I wouldn't dare to spend that.
And I went deep, and then he just shut up. And then now we're investing a lot more money into it to start different virtual influencers.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, well, should we do Minecraft? Why not? Well, we could do Roblox. That's an easy one. You can do reaction videos. These are all videos you can produce very cheap.
Yeah.
Under a brand that's totally anonymous, that no one has to know that it's me, but it's a virtual influencer, or it is a guy with a mask.
Yeah.
Or it's at least someone whose face you don't see.
Yeah, it's the same with the Donald Duck and the Mickey Mouse people to do the reaction videos. They're blowing up.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. You can just put any virtual character there, and then there you go. You're a YouTuber now.
Yeah, because one of the things I was thinking about in order to get a lot of channels monetized in the reaction niche as well was the Apple, the emojis you get from it. And just have them do the AI, because it's almost near perfection. You can pretty much make it directly.
So in my case study to see if virtual influencers could be successful, I actually studied this guy who literally just used emojis. And he had a few videos with 1 million views. Insane. And I was like, well, if you can have one video with 1 million views, you can have 100.
Yeah.
Right? So for me, that was good enough. And then you have the anime looking style too. Now with Unreal Engine, you have the meta-human, so the super hyper-realistic ones.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah,
because in my research, I also came through, okay, so what are the different types of characters you could do this YouTube AI with?
Yeah.
Because this is, of course, way more scalable than having a YouTube automation channel.
We got the full mocap suits too now, so we can do full body virtual influencers, not just the heads.
Oh, I haven't seen that yet.
I'll show you after.
Sure. Sounds awesome.
So we have we got my socials. We have all of these virtual influencers that we keep to ourselves.
Yeah.
So no one has to know that we run them and they are ours.
Yeah.
And then we have the video game company, which I just talked about. I can't really say much about it. Yeah. Besides that, we've been making a game for 2.5 years. It looks sick. I can show you privately
that's gonna be juicy.
In a bit what the game looks like. But I'm very confident that it's going to be a big hit.
Yeah. Well, I can't judge yet, so no, I think it will be awesome.
You should play it one day if you're at the office.
Of course.
And then finally, the one we are actually launching officially this week.
Yeah.
It goes under JVDB Studios.
Yeah.
That's very much the name. We focus on business to business. So I've had a ridiculous amount of companies throughout my years just come over to me and go, "We want to work together with you." And I'm like, "Okay, how much do you know about social media?" And they go, "Nothing. Do you want money and promote our product?" And all these influencers always go, "Yeah, I'll promote your product. It's going to be a great success." And that's sure, go for it. I realized that these people, these companies, they're not even on TikTok. They don't. They're spending hundreds of thousands, if not millions, a year on influencer marketing on TikTok.
Yeah.
And they don't even have their own TikTok page.
Yeah, and they don't even have their own unique content creators.
No,
it's
they
just
don't
everything. There's like, hey, you have your free item. Make sure you post a picture and share us in your Instagram story.
Listen, what they do is you go to their YouTube channel, or their Instagram, or their TikTok, and they have spent. They paid a guy 25,000 euros to make a 30-second commercial of their product spinning around with a spooky setting, with an shot with a 16K camera.
Yeah, makes no sense.
Edited to a track which was licensed for way too much money. And then you look in their Instagram and it says 300 views.
Yeah.
And you're like, what? And the brand is like, yes, this looks so good. And they're showing their executives and the executives go, yes, that's great.
But the thing is, it looks good.
But
it doesn't perform.
It looks good. It doesn't perform. It's so old school.
Yeah.
So all of these brands, we started chatting with them and we're like, why don't you have your own social media? Why don't you have why is no one creating content and post? Why are you not growing your stuff organically rather than paying $1 million for absolutely terrible conversion?
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, well, good question. And then me and my business partner, we were just like, well, why don't we just do it? Because we know very well how to make short-form content, long-form content. We know plenty of people to put on the task if we need to produce content. We know a bunch of brands, so it's literally just, okay.
Just your connection and your network from the 10 years of doing YouTube.
Exactly, let's connect it. And that's really has really been my biggest focus.
Yeah.
And so far, we have a bunch of clients. No one knows we're running their socials, and we have seen. Well, sometimes you see me in a video, which is pretty funny. But sometimes I'm like, yeah, I'll film this one, and then I go do something or whatever. And someone goes, hey, is that kwebbelkop? What is he doing?
Yeah, because that's actually how I discovered Blue.
Yeah,
I discovered Blue because you were doing a shout out from the kwebbelkop page.
Yeah.
Because first you had this partnership with someone called Tiger.
Yeah.
Haven't really gone into depth in him. I know his channel blew up, and then now it's just one line is consistently going, but not much has happened. But then I saw this shout out to Blue, and then I was like, I wonder how these videos are made. And then it was like, so the last time I spoke to you was in Vid Summit in LA. So you were saying that someone records the gameplay, but everything of the reactions is based out of your videos and AI, if I understand correctly.
No. But we can do that. Yeah. But we don't do it because it's too complicated.
Okay.
I set up the entire pipeline to make it as easy as possible. So, and like you mentioned earlier, you need to have a good line between, is it AI generated, is it a bot, or is it a real person?
Yes.
So we will never post anything that is fully AI because that
might not be deemed as allowed on YouTube.
Exactly. So you always want to make sure that you have that human layer in between, that human filter.
But it is also because I always say to my audience as well, and also in just separate, also in my program, the main goal of being an influencer and a YouTuber or any social media star at all is that you have a relationship with the viewer. Mm-hmm. So if you don't speak their language, it never makes sense. So I also have this feeling, because AI don't really feel emotions, is they're unable to really target an emotion to get a viewer to respond.
Yeah.
So in that case, I was also like, if you do it fully AI, I wonder if it even has emotions.
Yeah.
How does it respond? You can say speak loudly or engage, but really that human touch still makes it feel loved. Like your mother says, I'll add some love to the pancakes. Yeah, it tastes better.
Like I read a bunch of studies on this, and I think the proper term is visceral relationship or visceral relationship, something along those lines. You live vicariously through someone.
Vicariously.
Yeah, that's what I was fishing for. And what this means is that when I'm angry, you can feel it.
Yeah, it's the energy you bring.
But when I'm happy and I'm laughing, you feel it.
Yeah.
Right? And it means that you can feel someone's emotion. Yeah. You can literally feel how someone else feels. And you can have it when you're sitting across from someone, but you can also have that while looking at a movie. Like if Spider-Man beats a bad guy, I'm happy because he's happy.
Yeah, or when the Titanic sings, you're sad.
You're sad because they're sad.
Yeah, exactly.
And the same thing goes for on YouTube. So as long as you can vicariously live through someone, that emotional connection can be there, and that is what they really mean. So when I'm genuinely not enjoying making YouTube videos, people feel that because they feel something's off, right? Yeah. But when I'm genuinely enjoying it, they will feel that too, and they will then come back because they love the joy that they feel. Here's the crazy thing. You can do this with virtual characters too.
Really?
So an example I can give you is when you watch a cartoon. When you watch an animated movie, I felt most sad out of everything with animated stuff.
Yeah, same thing here.
I've watched these sad animations on YouTube, and I genuinely felt like I'm not going to cry in this video. And it's animated. Yeah. So you can vicariously live through someone, even if it's not real.
Yeah, I have the exact same thing with Dragon Ball.
With Dragon Ball, exactly. With anime, I have it crazy because you can imagine this being real.
Yeah.
So as long as you can imagine this is real, it feels real.
Yeah, that's a really good one you say so. That's really interesting.
I'll happily send you all the studies.
I'd happily read over it. That's my job. That's what I do.
And it was so fascinating to me. And I'm like, okay, that's really, that was the missing puzzle piece that I've been looking for in my 10 years of YouTube. And now I feel like I got a really good understanding of, okay, a question I wanted to answer was, why did I ever become successful? Yeah. And I feel like now, I can grasp 90% of this totally crazy thing that happened in my life.
Yeah. Yeah, I can completely understand. Like I said as well, even with the Dragon Ball, I always feel motivated when I watch it. When I go to the gym, I watch Dragon Ball.
There you go.
When I was playing soccer as a child on pretty high level, I went to bed watching Messi videos and I felt good. Mm-hmm. And then you learn from watching videos. But the same, of course, applies with anime, because with anime, you can also show an emotions. So that's really powerful. So you have all these things, and also with emotions. How were your emotions during your 10 years of daily uploads? Because I can imagine at one point you feel good because you might be making the most amount of money ever, but at the other point you might be so mentally exhausted that you don't like life anymore. As an example.
and I'll happily be very honest with you here and for everyone, because I think it's such an important thing to talk openly about. Yeah. So right now, just know I'm great. I've never been better in my life mentally. I feel really good, and I'm genuinely happy. I sleep great, and physical, I'm great. Relationships great. Everything's great now.
Everything's fitting into the puzzle.
Exactly. But 10 years ago when I got started, I was young and I started focusing on YouTube and I'm doing my YouTube, and I very quickly realized that YouTube was like a drug to me. So you make some videos and they go viral, and I came from not a rich family at all. I just had my mom, and we could go on holiday once a year, right? Go camping. That's all. That just to put it into perspective. I didn't get allowance. I had to go and work when I was 13, 14 myself to get the money, and So when I started posting YouTube videos and all of a sudden you're making thousands of dollars a month, you're like, whoa. Okay, this is crazy. So I was starting to make more videos so I could take care of my family and make sure that we never had to worry about money again. Yeah. And at one point you're like, fuck, I'm a millionaire.
Yeah.
Right?
That goes so quickly.
Yeah. Before you know it, you're there. And to me, that was so surreal. And
was it a form of relief for you? When you see that number, you're like, now finally I can take this little bit of rest.
No. Okay,
nice.
Because to me at first it was like, okay, first thing I want to do is be able to buy a house. Yeah. So I started working and I was able to buy a house.
Because that was a house in Amsterdam, right? Yeah. The one with the 3-4 floors.
Or was that the one? No, it's a different one. I bought that one after, but it was an apartment. I bought an apartment.
Okay, yeah.
So I thought, okay, worst comes to worst, if my career dies, something happens to me, I have a house, and at least I don't have to pay rent, right? Yeah, I could just live there. And then I was like, okay, well, I have other expenses too. So I should make enough money to be able to afford that. And then I thought, okay, well, what if I buy another house that generates rent and then I can take care of those expenses? So I did. And I was like, okay, but what if my mom's not going to have a job because
Yeah.
I've been paying my mom like a salary for 8-9 years now. I
Wow.
was like, okay, well, I gotta get another house or some real estate for that or investment here.
Make sure at least the main things that you want to cover are covered by another asset that gives you the income. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. And in the meantime, you're like, well, I'm becoming more famous and I'm getting more views and I'm building these crazy things and people are loving what I do and and I'm having a blast. And before you know it, you're 4 years in, 5 years in, and you realize you're like, oh, okay. What did I gain? Well, you gained a lot of money. You got some houses. You're taking care of your family, which are beautiful things. You're famous. You've made a lot of YouTube videos. You made a lot of people very happy.
Yeah.
Which is the main driving force for me.
Because you entertain billions of people.
Exactly. And you're having fun, and they feel you having this fun, so they're having fun.
They're having this energy where it's like, with the screen, they're watching you at night when you post, and it's like they feel happy with,
and you make them happy. So you're like, okay, these are all the good things that I got from it. That's nice.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, yo, but I just feel dead inside, and that's when I realized I had never really taking care of myself. I was just working.
Yep.
I was just going for it. I was just grinding. 10 hours a day. And I realized I'd never taken a holiday. I'd never even taken more than 4 days off back to back. Christmas, mate, you gotta work because those CPMs are nice. Right? So. Kids are on holiday, CPMs are through the roof. Yep. You gotta post.
I know so many YouTubers that even do double uploads in December.
Yes.
December, November.
Yes, because it pays like crazy. So at the end of December, they were like crazily burnt out, and that's when I went like I felt burnt out. I couldn't sleep. And by the way, I was streaming on the side too because I had
really?
This
I didn't
mixer
even
deal.
catch that with me.
Yeah, like I just got a fat paycheck to stream, and I was like,
same like Ninja.
Yes,
you
exactly. But I was the round before Ninja, and that's really when the question popped up into my mind, like, for how much money would you do something absolutely stupid for yourself?
Yeah.
And at the time, I said yes, and halfway through, I was like, no way would I for any amount of money. Ever I wouldn't just do anything that wasn't good for myself.
Yeah.
Right. And I just couldn't sleep. I had terrible back pain that was like radiating into my leg. I had heartburn. And eventually I fell into a depression.
Yeah.
And I had all the money in the world. I had a beautiful girlfriend. Like, if you look at my life, you'd be like, there's no way this guy could be sad.
Yeah, because that's what everyone imagines when you have money. But when you have money, you have more problems than...
more money, more problems, right?
The more money, the more problems.
For sure. But the main issue was that I had prioritized this status and money and wealth over my own well-being.
Yeah, and then you went into the transformation.
That's when I said, okay, you know what? Let's axe everything that doesn't make me happy, and let's really take care of myself.
Yeah.
And I took a very long time for that. I said, let's go to therapy and let's really get to the cause of this. Turns out, I managed to crawl out of this depression, which it's the craziest thing ever. Depression's like everything's on mute. So you could show me something and then ask, how do you feel? And I'd be like, I don't feel anything. You'd be like, oh, my mom could die and I wouldn't be sad, right?
Then you
I would cry. I would cry.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't know why. I would just be like, I'm crying, but I don't know why. Right? She's still alive, thankfully.
Yeah.
But that's really what it's like being in a depression. So I managed to get out of that, and then I was like, okay, but how did I get here in the first place? Why did I focus so much on all of these things and achieving these things and not really taking care of myself? And that came much more from just, this standard YouTube thing, mental health thing, anxiety.
You have to push through, even if you don't like it, but then at one point you break down.
It's this insecurity that a lot of content creators have.
Yeah, because I can imagine, because you get this status and this fame, and you get it's like a high. Mm-hmm. A lot of people say that, because you get everything in life just a little bit easier. You want clothes, you get them for free. You get money, you do a brand deal, and you get it.
Yeah.
But you miss that sort of exchange where it's a fair exchange between value and effort. Let's say it that way. I think that's a really good way to put it. But then you lose that connection. And I think that once you know that connection and you take time and care of yourself is when you also respect the other things more.
Yes, 100%. And that's very much the part, like, take care of your mental health first.
Yeah.
And physical health.
Because it shows everywhere.
Yes, it shows everywhere. It really does. And all the other things in life are just simply not worth it. At the end of the day, you're going to die.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, everyone's dead.
Yeah.
And man, it doesn't matter how many followers you have. It doesn't matter how many monthly views you have. It doesn't matter how much like money and it all didn't matter. All that mattered was the time that came before it. The experiences that you went through, the joy that you managed to experience, the good things that you did, the stuff that you left behind, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter like how much money you got.
Yeah,
or
you're
how
not
many
taking
subs.
anything with you.
You're not taking anything with you. And for me, like, it was just night and day. It was, okay, I'm going to start taking care of myself. Well, it turns out I'm anxious about literally everything in life, from me posting YouTube videos to this, to that, to blah, 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 you name it. Taking care of it, going to therapy, practicing good thoughts, being grateful for stuff. Like, I am stupidly grateful for everything I have, for every fan that rocks up to me. I feel blessed every living moment in my life. And just by doing so, my life might still be the same, but I'm enjoying it 10 times more.
Yeah, because otherwise you start losing yourself, and that's when you get into the depression. So once you know who you are and what you're doing, you feel good about yourself.
Yeah.
Everything else just goes better.
Exactly. And right. So with the depression, that can be a cause, like that can help people get out of depression, but there's so many other things that could cause it, right? Which is why it's such a crazy thing. And we still don't really fully understand how it works. But yeah, like, take care of yourself. Know like what makes you happy. What's your purpose? Finding my purpose was very meaningful to me.
What is your purpose?
Make the world a better place, mainly happier place. And how do I do that? By just having a lot of fun, enjoying myself, because that's what I've been doing throughout these years. I filmed myself just having a good time. That's literally all I did.
Yeah, I see these trips. You also went to Monaco with the Grand P and with friends, and also another friend of yours that I know is Lotte. She's also quite popular on TikTok recently. Yeah. And you just see that this change in you, going from low energy to having more energy and having these more life experiences. And you just see that in the last year or two, I think it's been a good amount of 2 years that we haven't really spoken with each other. Yeah. You've been glowing up.
Yes.
You were from being you were at home last time when we were together at home, and you had these weights and everything. And still after this, I'm going to beat you at chess.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'll post that one. I'll make sure in the end I'll add a photo of who wins. That will be fun. No, but you see that this light has been going up as more you've been focusing on yourself, because you came from a dark place and now everything just looks a little bit better. And I also have the feeling, also now sitting here with you for a proper amount of time, that you have this energy about you, that you're finally in the place that you want to be, just like the way you said it.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you, by the way.
Yeah, no worries.
I'm glad people can see it. And for me, it's like all about inspiring, right? Like, I'm like, yo, if you're in that spot, like, don't worry, buddy. Just gotta work hard and grind your ass off, but not work-wise, but mental health and physical-wise. Yeah,
because if you let one slip, then it won't be well. I had the same thing when I was working on the programs. Like, I was recording for about 3 to 6 hours a day, but what did I end up getting? I had my tonsils. Then you can't talk anymore really well. You had a really annoying voice. Then you need to get surgery and get them removed. Then you're afraid that, hey, I won't be online. So you need to have those personal boundaries as well, as where, like, I take my weekends off. In a weekend, you can't. You can send a message to me, but I won't respond.
Same here.
It's like nothing anymore. I have a feeling like you get to this certain point. Like in the beginning, there's one video that I wanted to make going from my story from 0 to 100K a month, and then the levels in between. And I feel like the 0 to 10K is where you really have to grind. That's when you can let your personal things a little bit slip. Just because at the 10K you get a lot of freedom. So even if you have something, you can probably cover it with that money. But then once you go to the next point, it's where you really start to know that you need to get the right people to get that peace of mind.
Mm-hmm.
And then after 30K, it really is about how you feel and what is enough.
Yes.
Because I feel like when I went from 100K to now about 180,000 a month, nothing changes anymore.
No.
Nothing does. So it's like
yes.
you need to take
And
your personal time.
Exactly. And I was in that exact same situation and had the exact same realization where I thought, okay, I have more money than I'd ever need. I have more money. I have enough money to take care of my grandkids.
Okay,
and,
I don't.
and they will be off very well.
Yeah.
Right? So much so that I have my setup. Like, I don't have to work a single day.
Yeah.
Give me $1 million and my life doesn't change. Give me $10 million, my life doesn't change. Right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, what will I do? I just invest it. And give me $100 million. I'll just invest it. Like, I don't spend much money.
Yeah.
Okay. I drive an Audi.
Yeah. Same thing. Yeah.
My bills aren't that crazy. I really don't need much money. I just go do my own groceries. I fired my cleaner because I was like, I'll just clean myself.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's something I'm never doing.
Yeah, I like just living that humbling life.
Yeah.
Having to clean the dishwasher and being like, oh, I hate this, but yeah, I'm a
Just gotta
grown up.
through.
Let's do. Like, I love that, and that's why I don't need the money. And I realized at one point, I'm like, okay, I could make $1 million more money, but it's not going to make my life better. And I always thought, oh, what if I have this or what if I have that? My life would be so much better. And you get there and it's like, still don't feel happy. But what if I have this? What if I have that? And you get that and you're like, still not happy. Oh, what if I get this? Nope. That's not where happiness comes from. Happiness comes from within. Happiness comes from the way that how you perceive the world.
Yeah.
Right.
What you value.
Exactly. It is literally just all in your mind, right? It is these thoughts.
Exactly.
So if you train your thoughts accordingly, you can be happy in any type of situation.
What's your number one tip to train your thoughts?
Cognitive behavioral therapy.
Say that again. That went way too fast even for me to get it.
CBT.
Okay.
Cognitive behavioral therapy.
Okay.
And first of all, quick disclaimer, I'm not a therapist, but I have read a lot of books on it and I have gone to therapy. Yeah. So out of experience, I can tell you what have I experienced. First of all, a great book to read is Viktor A. Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning.
Man's Search for Meaning. Perfect.
And what Viktor... My man, Viktor. I call him Viktor. No, I'm joking. What Viktor said was that he was a Jew in World War II and he was sent to Auschwitz.
Yeah.
He was there there were people who were living in the most miserable thing you could imagine. You
can't imagine anything worse.
It cannot be worse.
Yeah.
Yet people there still had good days and bad days.
Yeah.
So how is it possible that you could take everything away from a human, but they can still have a good day or a bad day? It's because you can take everything away from a person besides their thoughts.
Yeah. And
their thoughts decide if they have a good day or a bad day.
Yeah, because it's like a kid doesn't know the situation. That's the same as we went to Komodo Island near Indonesia, Bali, where I live. And we bought those plastic balls and they're like 30 cents a pop and we gave them to the children. You should see how happy those people are.
Yes.
Well, they got absolutely nothing. Literally next door, we saw a rat laying dead near their home. And I was like, you can't imagine that, but still they're really happy.
Now give that to a rich kid in Amsterdam and they're going to throw it away.
They will literally kick it in the river.
And the reason for that is because their thoughts look at it and go, the kids, where Indonesia was it?
Indonesia, yes.
The kids look and go, oh, wow, I always wanted one of these. Yeah. I'm so happy is what they think. I'm so grateful for this and I'm so lucky.
Yeah.
Right? But a kid who is not happy, right? Let's say it grows up in Amsterdam, super rich parents, and they go, I'm so unlucky. They say, I am getting bullied by my parents, and this and that. And the cognitive behavioral therapy focuses on those thoughts.
Yeah.
And a lot of people nowadays still believe that those thoughts are who you are.
Yeah.
And they're not. They're like suggestions.
Yeah, it's within your mind, but you can change it. But you have to know how.
Yes, exactly. And that's what CBT focuses on. CBT focuses on changing those thoughts to make it so that you feel better
Yeah.
in the exact same situation, and you will act differently in the exact same situation, and you'll act in a way that is helpful rather than unhelpful. And I just find that fascinating because, especially in business, you can be faced with something that at first you might think this is devastating because these thoughts come up. You're like, oh, we're going under. Oh, we're losing millions. Oh, or this is happening. Oh, that's happening.
Yeah, I even have that with chat support because everyone is being like, all gurus or coaches, they're bad. And you have so many coaches these days. And I'm like, I feel bad when I don't respond for a single day.
Mm-hmm.
Literally yesterday, I had 3 hours in the studio, had boxing and everything. I couldn't respond, like mentally. And this is the first time ever I'm at the stage that I'm like, it doesn't matter. It's okay. Because I first have to take care of me.
Yeah.
Because if I don't do so, nobody will receive good support.
There we go.
So
exactly.
I'm like, you have to solve those things. And everyone experiences that in a different layer.
Yeah. And
right?
There's like unhelpful thoughts like I must, I have to.
Yeah.
Right. And the moment you start thinking that, it doesn't help you.
No,
right. Because if you're like, if you think those things and you're aware of that, right, you can start slowly changing it. Once again, not a therapist, so please go see a therapist if you need it.
Definitely do so.
And it's a life hack. Like going to therapy is just it's like going to the gym. I'm like, you go to the gym, you look better. You go to a therapist, you feel better.
Yeah, I have the same thing with boxing.
It shows everywhere. It shows in your business. It shows in your love life. It shows in
your physique.
Your physique. Like your physique changes if you're mentally healthier. So, but then if you start thinking, I did my best, right? It's the same to go to the gym and work out. And if you think, I'm so weak, I'm so bad at this, I'm so lazy, you're not going to come back.
No.
Because you feel bad when you're working out. But if you're in the gym and you're training yourself to think, I'm doing a good job, I'm working hard, I'm becoming bigger, I'm becoming healthier, if you practice doing that every single day, the connections in your brains, the neurons, they will realize, oh, okay, that's the fastest. That we've done this so many times. We can do this with zero energy. So this is the thought that we're going to pop in every time you work out.
Yeah.
So now you're working out and you're having a blast.
Yeah, and you want to go back.
Listen, you want to hear the craziest thing ever?
Tell me.
In the middle of my depression, I woke up at noon every day.
Nice.
And I couldn't sleep. Okay?
Maybe not a good thing.
So I said, okay, let's start working out. Now I work out almost every morning at 7 a.m. in the gym.
Wow.
Okay? I could have never imagined this. And I'm benching more than I ever did. I'm lifting more than I ever did. And I'm looking better than I ever did. And I go to the gym at 7 a.m. and I feel better than when I was going to the gym back then at 1 or 2 p.m.
Yeah.
Okay? And that is just because I've constantly thought, okay, I love this. I'm doing a good job. And I'm complimenting myself because so many people that have this voice in their head, their thoughts. Yeah. And if that thought was a friend, he would have not been your friend. I can tell you that because the stuff
that's a really good one you say so. I'm going to repeat that one. So if your thought is your friend, but you don't like your thought, you should remove your friend.
You would remove your friend.
Yeah, you would.
But you can't. This is your thoughts.
Yeah.
But what you can do with this friend is you can really change him.
Yeah.
So you can really practice.
Like I'm doing this. This is good for me.
I'm doing a good job.
Yeah, I'm killing it. Same thing with boxing. So this was 2019. I came out of a really toxic relationship, and I went to Thailand. To Chiang Mai, and specifically, if someone wants to do some sort of therapy, I went to this camp called The Camp, and it's a Thai boxing school. And I always thought like I'm pretty big, I'm pretty strong, and I was fighting eventually against this guy that was 55 kilos. And I was like, I'm going to beat this guy up. Yeah. And I got knocked the fuck out. I can tell you that. No way. And that was the first time I came to the realization because he's so small. He's so tiny. It's like, whoop, whoop, whoop. He dodges everything. And then it's like, okay, here you got a face and here you got one. And it keeps going. And I was like, that's such a good thing to sort of experience. And that woke me up being like, it's like calms down your ego. Mm-hmm. You're like, you think you're this. But sometimes you need a realization that you're in the middle. Mm-hmm. But you have a long way to go to get there. But once you have that level, you start feeling better and start programming your mind. I have the same thing with meals. I hate going on a diet or anything. But now I started figuring out which ones is best for me. I got a life coach. I have an Aura ring that I was wearing in the beginning.
I
just
had
put
one
it in
too.
my pocket as well. But like you start tracking these things and you're like, okay, now I start feeling better. Now you know, like, okay, so today my resting score wasn't as good. So I was like, I'll take today off as a gym. So I'm not that tired. And then you're figuring these things out. And as long as you go, everything becomes easier. You're changing that friend. Because I didn't like going to the gym as well.
Yeah.
Now if I haven't gone for 3, 4, 5 days, I feel bad. Like I can't handle it. Like I need to go every 2 days minimum just to relieve the energy. Because you're always, for sure, with the business that you run as well, most of your work is done here with your thought, with your friend. So you need to make sure that your friend is disciplined.
Very much so. Exactly. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
You nailed it.
But thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was my life experience with that one. So I was like a little bit of the same situation. That's how I solved it. And last time I was with you, you had the dumbbells outside and everything, and the amazing jacuzzi. Still jealous of that one.
Yeah.
If I'm ever gonna go to an apartment, I'm gonna have that as well. That was relaxing.
It was a joke. I bought a place, and as a joke, I said, I want to have a pool on the balcony. And the architect goes, yeah, we can make that happen. I'm like, oh, okay, let's do it.
I was literally informing when I was living in Breda. I was literally informing, like, could I have a hot tub on my balcony because I saw it at your place.
Yeah.
But it couldn't hold the weight, and I was like so sad. I was like, that would be so amazing.
So, and then another life lesson I learned was my architect of my new place said they can send rockets to the moon. Anything is possible. So if they say that's impossible, then you go, well, what's needed to make it possible?
Yeah.
And then often the solution is just a lot of hard work and a good amount of money.
Yeah.
But if you really want to have it, it means it's possible.
Yeah.
So
same thing with Dubai. Anything is possible. You're in the middle of the desert and there's a building.
Dubai, everything is possible.
Yeah, but that's with everything.
Yeah.
Exactly. I just literally came from there for 6 weeks. So
that's crazy. There's two pieces of advice that I always give people where I'm like, okay, if you just know those two things, you're going to get very far in life.
All right.
The first one, okay, everything you dream is possible.
Yep.
Everything. If you can think about it, it's possible.
Yep.
I'm not saying it's easy, but it's possible.
Yeah.
And then that's the first one. So make people believe in their dreams. If the amount of people who have dreams and then they just don't.
Yeah, so
like
sad.
they're like, oh, it's like, no. Like my worst nightmare is to be dying and then to say, I wish I did this. I wish I did that. Like,
Damon made a movie about that. It was so good.
What's it called?
Damon has a lot of good stories. It's just that I'm subscribed to him, so
I'll
I get
go
those
check it out.
stories.
Send it
Yeah,
over.
I'll send it to you. It's really good one.
Exactly. You don't want to have regrets, especially dreams wise. And you're like, you get one chance, go for it. And then the second thing is like, once you realize what those dreams are, be proactive.
Yeah.
The hardest part is getting started. And then often you realize when you're getting started, it's not that tough.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's really tough, but then divide it up into a bunch of small tasks and just be proactive. Just go and do it. Just go do it. Stop contemplating. Stop thinking, oh, should I? No. If
you should start.
Just start.
That's literally the only thing.
Yeah.
If you don't like it and you're stuck and you're, like I said at the beginning, from the 0 to 10K, you're stuck in the beginning, the only thing that you have to do, realistically speaking, these days is just get started. Money has never been as easy as it is these days. Companies are growing faster than ever.
Here's another thing. You need money. Okay. Find a way to get that money.
Yeah. It can be anything.
You can raise money.
Yeah.
You can start a side hustle and then funnel money in that way. You can lower the expenses so you don't need money, or you go and do the job yourself.
Yeah,
right?
and you got everything. You got
those
arbitrage and
those are 6 different. Yeah. 6 different ways on to tackle the challenge of I don't have the money.
Yeah.
Right. And that's just us coming up with a few very quickly.
Yeah.
And okay, sure, that's one. Oh, I don't know how to do this. Go and learn.
Yeah,
go
Google
study.
it.
Go ask people.
Everything is on Google.
Go Google it. Go read some books. Go watch some podcasts.
Yeah.
Do your thing. Do this. Do that. So it's really like just go and do it.
Yeah.
Literally just do it.
I have a really good one in that one as well. I was watching this video. I'll try and find it back for you as well. Is this guy went to a psychiatrist to get help as well. And he wanted to know all the best tricks. And he was like, he was calling them and he was like, how much do you make in a month? Just out of curiosity. And she said, about 9K. And he said, I'm going to pay you 9K for a single day, but I want you for the next month to combine all your knowledge into a 1-day training. So he went to there, and in 8 hours time, he learned everything that she learned over the past 15 years of experience.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to do this thing as well.
That's a good one.
You can learn so many different fields so quickly. Imagine that I have to pay 20K to go to school here in the Netherlands, learn something for 4 years plus an additional 4 years, or I pay someone 9K and I get all the knowledge within 8 hours.
Right. Like, I doubt you'll get everything, but you'll get a good understanding.
You get the best points from one person's experience.
Yes.
So
And
she has 15 years of experience and you get that in a single day.
Yeah.
But it was for her and her clients the most valuable.
Yeah.
And of course that can be different for everyone everywhere.
Yeah, I would definitely split that up over a month and then do every morning an hour so you can retain even more information.
Yeah.
It's like if I go and read a book in a day, I'll retain a little bit of information. If I read it on 2 times the speed, even worse, right? But if I take my time and I take notes and I spend a month wondering and really trying to understand what they're trying to say, that's when I really understand a book.
Yeah.
That's just different ways of learning.
I always do the audiobook first, just to make sure, because I always go on these walks. And my walk is always an hour and 20 minutes. It's all around, it's about 6 kilometers, but I just walk. And in an hour, 20 minutes, you can go through books about 1 a week.
Yeah,
Easily. So the thing is, I hear the audiobook and I'm like, okay, these lessons were important. I'll buy the book and I'll just go over it quickly just to make sure that I can mark the things that I've already heard. And then when someone gets another book and it's like, oh yeah, these are the wise lessons out of it. And you just make it a lot easier, because reading a book takes up a lot of time. But if you first hear it and you're like, okay, these points are interesting, and you hear anything that comes remotely close to it, that's when I start paying attention. Because in my opinion, books are also filled with 50% of the storyline to make the book longer.
Yes.
So I'm like, if I have the audio first, I can just skip all the stuff.
I got
so quickly.
Got a good one for you.
All right, let me hear that.
There's book podcasts where they review books in the span of an hour, and they will literally just summarize the book to you with the best lessons and all the fluff.
How's that app called? There's an app for it.
Oh, Blinkist.
Yeah.
Blinkist is one of them, and I use it a lot, but that's a really dense summary.
Yeah, it's like 10, 20 minutes, and you have the whole book.
But that is just them that's them just saying exactly what the book said, summarized. But these podcasts is like me and you talking about it, like how I just talked about Man's Search for Meaning. Yeah. Right? Oh, okay. That's really me sharing my way of viewing it and this and that. And there's a bunch of podcasts that do that. And that is, to me, that was huge.
Yeah.
And then also just really thinking about it for a long period of time. Because there's only so much information you can retain in a week. Yeah. It's like if I let's say I go camping and then for a week I'm just reading books. It's not like I'm going to remember everything.
No, you won't.
But if I read it, let's say I spread it out over a month, I'll retain much more information.
Yeah, I can completely understand that. But it's the same thing as when you go to these events, as an example, like Vid Summit, and you get all this knowledge propped up within 8 hours. Yeah. You're never going to remember it.
No way.
There's just no way possible. So I'm also like, these things could be scheduled out, but it also makes sense that everything's into one point. Yeah. However, I would like for Vid Summit that they make it that it's just one room, where you don't have like 3 lessons at the same time and you want to attend 2 and you can only attend 1.
Yeah, that's it.
Sometimes
that's a tricky one. But obviously they want to have a lot of stuff.
They want to offer as much value as possible to the people joining there. What I completely understand. But then you have to list down which ones you want to rewatch, and you still get all the knowledge you want. It just takes some more time.
Well, what I want to see there is much more science, like data backed stuff, rather than just people. Like I had a presentation, and I showed some numbers.
Yeah, it was a really interesting one.
Thank you. And very quickly, while making the presentation, I'm like, no one's going to check.
No.
Everyone's going to take what I say as factual. I can literally go on stage here and say whatever I want. Yeah. And they'll believe it. Or obviously
most people will.
Some people will question it, of course, and that's great, and we need more of that.
Yeah, of course.
We need people that go, please show me your data and why you made this decision. Yeah. And why do you, like, it's a science. Right? You need to check each other's stuff.
But for sure, when you get at that high level, when you were doing like 200 million views, and we were talking about thumbnails as well, same thing for Mr. Beast. He changed all his thumbnails, and they did a breakdown of one video. That was really interesting. They changed the thumbnail, and they got 10 million more viewers over the next, 24 days or something. Really interesting. But he changed all his thumbnails. I want to see like the CTR before and after a month. How did that change for all those videos that has this thumbnails change? How did that work out? Was it because of the brightness? Was it because of the color constriction? That it was like different colors? Because I did a breakdown of his thumbnails as well, where it's like the chocolate factory that he gave away. It's like when you have the purple and yellow that are contradicting, and then you have the green and red. Yeah. And it's like, how does that work into play? And
right, they're complementary colors.
Complementary, yeah.
Right, and if you have those colors, they really they pop.
Yeah. But that's the goal of those thumbnails, to make sure that they pop. But I want to know like what he changed on everything a thumbnail that made it pop. Because for my work, I look at thumbnails, I don't know, 2-3 hours a day. You study them, you get obsessed with them, and then you make those improvements over time. And it's also like the more reach you get, the lower your CTR will be automatically. Because as like my podcast, my first one started off with a 15% CTR, but dropped all the way down to 5%. Could I change it and make it more wide? Yes, I could, but it also gives me my identity. I consistently have the same thumbnail style to make sure that people know it's me. And also because I don't clickbait on my videos. There's a lot of people that use a lot of clickbait, make $10,000 copying this. Fuck that bullshit, it's not going to happen. So I'm like, keep it real, keep it low key. But then it's also like, how would that be optimized? And then it's like, even for Blue, how would you optimize the engagement on it? Do you have someone replying to comments? Will it also get brand deals, or is it just purely meant for AdSense in like the YouTube automation way?
It does get brand deals.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet.
We've had a few. One obvious one, Raid Shadow Legends.
Oh, yeah.
I think everyone's done that one.
There's no way you can't see that one.
Yeah, that's like the standard one everyone gets. But no, we've got a handful of brand deals, but we have certainly realized that a lot of brands want to work with people who just have big numbers or a big name.
Yeah, and that's also where a lot of brands really go into downhill, because there's still so many people buying stuff. Yeah,
and it like, I think brands should work with people who have either like who just reach a big audience and pay CPM based.
Yeah,
if you're doing YouTube integration, and then I also completely understand you tie your brand to someone like someone famous with a good reputation. That's also worth a lot of money.
Yeah, of course,
because that person puts a stamp of approval on your brand. Like if I go work with a brand now, and I say, yeah, this brand's great, and that brand ends up scamming a bunch of people.
Yeah, you get screwed.
Like I'm in big trouble.
Yeah.
So before I go and do that, we need to do our proper due diligence to make sure that this is a legitimate brand that I want to be associated with.
You have to happen with how is it called? The Scottish land when you
yes,
give your lady
the Scottish
a lord.
Yeah, exactly. You buy the lord thing.
And all the YouTubers are listed in the comment section. All of them.
Yes.
And it's
I'm
like,
glad I didn't ever do that one.
You instantly know it's like it goes downhill. It's like you have a brand of approval, but once that gets hit, like it does right now, you are worth so much less.
Yeah.
As an example, Graham Stephan, he can't charge the same thing ever again.
Nope.
Because FTX went down, and then you have this one. So two of his major brand deals went down all the way, and then it's like, how much trust do you have left over?
Yes, exactly.
Like, I wouldn't dare touch a product he promotes.
Exactly, and it's a very, very tough one. People will recover, right? It takes a long time, but it is a hit that you don't want to take.
Yeah.
And obviously, I can't guarantee you this, but I don't think he did it on purpose.
No, he
definitely didn't do proper due diligence.
Yeah,
and that is the issue. But then it's also like sometimes you're just like, there's no way. Like everything I found looks good.
Yeah.
Yet there's hidden things.
As an example, FTX.
They can lie about stuff, right?
8 billion missing. How do you know? You don't have the numbers. You can't look at it, and you think it's the second biggest crypto exchange, and you'll do it.
You know who they should blame? It's like the government.
Yeah, they could also bail out.
Yeah, but I think the like who is most responsible that people can do these type of things? It's the people that check to see if they did this correctly.
Yeah, but that's the reason also with FTX going into the videos that I watched about it as well. It's like it was FTX International and then it was FTX US. And that's the reason why he went to the Bahamas. It's this whole legal construction.
Yeah, right. And then the government there is like, like whatever. We'll see it unfold. I hope everyone, it gets as much money back as possible. It's super unfortunate. Yeah, I lost a big amount too.
Oh, really? In FTX? Yeah, I always say if you don't have your own crypto, it's not yours.
Exactly.
So,
No, 100% agree. Yeah, that's what I
have
preach too.
nothing
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
But it's sometimes these things happen.
Yeah, you
Right,
can't
it's a
see them for
misjudged calculation. I
Yeah.
was just watching Graham's videos and I thought, no, I'm joking. I'm joking. It was fully my own
Yeah,
decision.
it's always your own decision, and you should always do your due diligence with everything that you do.
Exactly, and that's why, I worked together with Bitfavo on a series, very much focused on educating people in the crypto space.
Yeah.
Especially because sure, a lot of people think it's a scam and it's going down. It's like going down. I still am a firm believer in the technology.
Yeah.
Like I'm not really there just to gain or make money.
And also the thing with Bitfavo, because this is a Dutch-based company, they have the bank backed up with them. So you have your assets protected to 100K. So even if they go down, you can still get 100K from the government. Anything above that, it's your own risk.
Exactly.
And that's why diversity, if you talk big numbers, diversity is the most important thing. I have 7 bank accounts in 3 different countries.
Yeah.
2 residencies, and
I only have them in one country.
So, you got everything in one country. I got everything spread out just to make sure that I don't have any risk, for sure, because I live tax-free because I'm a resident of Dubai, and then I also live in Bali, Indonesia. That's introducing its visa, so I have 2 places where I can live visa free for the next 5 to 10 years and don't have to worry about anything.
I pay my Dutch taxes.
Yeah,
I
good
pay
luck
for
with
the
that
lampposts and the roads.
Yeah,
and
not paying for any of that.
I love it.
But the Netherlands is an amazing country overall. Everything's really organized well.
You know why?
But it's complicated.
Do you know why?
Tell me.
Why am I living here? Why am I paying my taxes when obviously I could do something like
you're the happiest here.
Yes, because I'm the happiest there.
Easy.
And sure, you can have some crazy legal construction and this and that. And when someone finds out, they'll write 7 articles about me and try to tarnish my reputation and go, this guy, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
No, I'm just like, okay, you know what?
Location, one jurisdiction.
I'm happy. And I will work twice as hard here than I will living tax-free in Dubai.
Yeah, I can easily imagine, because in Dubai, when I'm there, it's so hard to have focus on work and everything is so stupidly expensive. It doesn't matter how much money you make. If you go to Dubai, you will see how much you spent.
Oh, yeah, I know. I've been there a few times.
Yeah, well, I had my surgery and everything, and I think for the last month I spent like 30K living there. And it's like, what the fuck is that?
What have you spent money on?
Well, first of all, my tonsil surgery,
rent,
because I was flying my mom in to take care of me. That was for a 2-bedroom apartment in downtown. I paid 11,000 at Saunders. So that's already a big hit. Then it's food, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Because, well, good luck cooking there. The cooking pan was like all blacked up, wasn't really nice. So it wasn't like we were ever cooked any single meal. So you order 3 meals for 2 people every single day in Dubai. You'll do the math on how.
You're on holiday there at that point.
You're on holiday, and then the worst thing of what is really sad is that my mom actually got a very rare lung virus in Dubai. So she also ended up in the hospital.
Oh shit!
So she was insured. We still need to get a reimbursement, but
she okay
I also
now?
needed to pay that up front. She's recovering. We flew business back to make sure that she could lie down. So that's also extra cost. That's another 3.6K.
That's crazy.
Up there. And then it's like, once we got here, ground stuff was informed. We went to the hospital. Everything got taken care of. She's on antibiotics now. And she's making a slowly recovery. So that's really nice. So even by doing all the work, you still have things that are outside of your control that sometimes just make sure that whatever you want to do doesn't work out the way you want. But that's with life. Never anything goes according to plan.
Yeah. But tax-free?
Tax-free, I guess.
Right.
No, but with that speaking, it's like, for me, I get really happy with traveling. Because when we had the lockdowns and restrictions here, I was like, I want just to be able to live my life. So I decided to go to Bali, Indonesia. In the beginning, I found it really boring. I didn't know what to do. I wasn't able to drive scooters, so everything was really slow. Then I got into the nice neighborhoods and learned people through a party. And then I got invited to this villa, and then this life started getting more and more and more amazing. And it's so cheap that I was like, I want to sort of live here. And then there was this one friend in the Netherlands that said like, well, if you want to do that, because I was sparring with him, because he has this company where he immigrates people to Dubai. It's like, if you want to do that, you could literally do so with the combination of Dubai and pay 0% tax. And I was like, that sounds really good. And then me and my dad did my due diligence. We did 3 months of due diligence, a lot of calls. I was really annoying to the firm, let's say it that way, because I ask all the questions to make sure everything is waterproof, make sure everything in the Netherlands is closed off properly. We have nothing here. I have no connections. The only connection I have is my mobile internet. That's the only thing I have working here. So I was like, I have to make sure that everything is according to plan as well. And then you live tax-free. But it also comes with complication of how much do you see your family.
Yes.
But the good thing for me is...
And friends.
And friends.
And your culture.
Yes, also the culture. I love the food here overall. Everything is really nice. People are really nice. But everything has its own charms. It's like Bali is really easy living of life. Here it's a little bit more complicated, and then Dubai is just stupidly expensive. So I actually found the perfect middle ground for me as being about 2 months here. I'll be 6 months in Bali, Indonesia, and I'll spend about 4 months in Dubai. And that combination with also seeing family, but I'm also able, since I live tax-free, to fly my family in.
Yeah.
And that gives them an amazing amount of experience. My mom has seen countries she has never seen, experienced cultures. It allows me to also do a lot of good work. I also work a lot with the charity in Bali, Indonesia. We've given over 1,000 meals and everything. So that's something that I like doing, and I feel good about it. It's not something I really say
Very
publicly.
cool. Yeah.
But it's something that allows me to do this because I live tax-free.
Yeah.
Because once I was living in the Netherlands and I was making 30K a month, but it's still a lot. But if you have your normal taxes plus a dividend, you don't keep a lot. So I love traveling. I traveled, 40, 50 flights a year. I couldn't pay that with the salary and the taxes I had in the Netherlands.
No way.
So it's like I needed to go to Dubai because then I opened up 50% of my income. Yeah. And that money was being used to travel.
And obviously a lot of people look at tax-free and they're like, this rich person's not paying his taxes. Like, what do you think happens to the money? He spends it. And he exactly. provides other people with business. Yeah. So it's like you inject it back into the company. It's not like you're hoarding this and say, this money will never see the sunlight ever again.
Yeah, and that's actually a really funny thing is with my educational company, I pour in all the money I make either back into promotions, into camera, even in this podcast. Everything costs money, and people don't
employees.
think about it. Yeah, we went from 2 to 12 staff in 3 months.
Let's not forget that, right? You're paying people.
Exactly.
And they can live their lives and they can do their things. And they pay their
taxes also in their countries where they're living.
Also. Yeah.
So there's still money coming in here as well. Yeah. It's money everywhere. And I make sure that everyone lives a good life. I want to know how everyone is feeling. Everyone does updates. And I think that's also something that people shouldn't be forgetting. Yeah. And that's how it changes for everyone. That's my structure. Your everything is based here, and that gives its complications, but it also gives the privileges.
So I also did what you did. Like, I'm spending 3 months here, 3 months there. I used to live in Spain. I had a home there. I lived in Canada, and then I would travel to the US a bunch. I've traveled the world like crazy, right? I was just on a permanent jet lag.
Yeah, can imagine.
And I like the jet set lifestyle. Yeah. Lovely for experiences, but I don't think I'd ever do it again. Yeah. I just really like, I got 2 dogs at home. I love just going to the grocery store and just grabbing my little salmon bowl. Like, I come home.
And you can
my girlfriend's there.
Everything's nice.
I can breathe. I have my friends here. I just love the culture here. Yeah.
But I can completely understand. Later on, when I want to settle, the way that you have settled.
Where do you want to settle?
Probably back here. But when you leave, you have this rule that you need to be leaving for 3 years. Yeah. So I can't go back till 2025.
Get out of here.
So that's the only downside point. But I did make sure that, like you said as well, you're able to take care of your mother. You can pay her a salary and everything. Yeah. And now I'm at that level that I scaled up because I live tax-free and because I was able to reinvest a lot more than I usually would be able to. That allowed me to be able to do this. So I was like, this is a decision that I made carefully, a little bit too quickly still, because I did leave everything behind here.
Yeah, but you're still young. Don't do it and make stupid mistakes.
I'm 23.
There you go.
I'll be back when I'm 25.
I did that when I was 23, and I came back with a burnout and a depression. And I thought, okay, I love this country. Yeah. Just don't fall in love with Canadian girls. No,
any girls outside of the country. Yeah,
no, I think Bali needs girls are probably super sweet.
But that's the last thing that I want to dive into is the virtual influences that you have that you're now going to be, if I said correctly, renting out or selling to companies. How does that work?
Yeah, so what we do is we just say, hey, a brand wants their own social, and then we'll create a virtual influencer for them. Like it's theirs. So we just manage the entire operation. We grow their socials. We make the content all organic. And then we have a virtual influencer. It's all yours. Let's say you have a product. It is sure.
Water.
No, like glasses. Glasses, right? And you're like, okay, well, what's the cool thing about this product? They're bulletproof. Okay, that's our business. Yeah, sure. We're selling glasses that you can You can drop it and they'll never break, and they'll never break in the dishwasher, and they look beautiful. So this brand obviously wants to market towards people, and they don't know how. They made a commercial once, and no one bought their product, even though they made this beautiful commercial.
Yeah.
So we then take care of this brand, and we say, hey, we will produce content for you, mainly short form content, but we also offer long form content. We think short form is what's most interesting. It's really very much the future. And then we will come up with funny TikToks or YouTube shorts.
Yeah, you'll shoot the glass and it doesn't break. And
for example, we put it here and boom, we shoot it. Oh, it did, and then we drink out of it. Or we're skydiving and then we drop the glass to the ground and then you grab it and you look. Oh, that's delicious.
Yeah,
it's actually great business.
It's a great idea. Actually.
And it's actually really funny.
It sounds really fun. It sounds like so stupid, but it would actually work with a virtual influencer.
There's a train riding you. Damn, slam dunk the train into
Glass
it.
stops GTA train.
Exactly. Yeah. For example, there you go. And we will come up with all these creative ideas, and then we will go and produce it and film it and edit it and post it.
Yeah.
And that will result in all these socials growing. And sometimes you see a virtual influencer, sometimes you don't, because you don't always need a person in there. But yeah, for example, he's in GTA. We can then mod him into GTA. Yeah. We can have him stand in front of the train. He gets hit. He picks up the glass and he says, "It's still ready." Like
ready to go. He drinks some
ready
whiskey
to go, and he drinks some whiskey and he walks away.
Yeah.
And we do that with JVDB Studios. We're announcing and launching publicly everything this week.
Amazing.
And so far it's crazy. I love it. I think it's beautiful.
I'm really curious how that also will go, and also curious how the content will be created for these companies.
Yeah, we already had a few that went viral. I think
really?
One already hit like over 1 million within a month and a half of us signing the client.
Insane.
So we hit a few with like 100,000, and to me 100,000 is like, yeah, okay, that's cool.
That's because you're used to the big numbers.
Yeah, exactly. I'm spoiled. And then I have high standards. And then I'm like, when we hit 1 million, I was like, wow. Okay.
This actually works. This is amazing.
It actually works. Yeah. We're not selling.
we're not selling something.
We're not selling BS.
Selling something properly.
Yeah.
But that's really funny. You say like 100,000 views isn't even that much, but since the last 3 months, I've been tracking how much we're doing in numbers as well.
Yeah.
And it's really funny to see as someone who's never had really a social presence. I was behind the screens to now go up front, and now you're like, you even get this high from the numbers as well. Like you said, like eventually that goes away. But it's really fun. Like we've grown about 200 to 400% month over month.
Super nice.
What is insane. Yeah. We went from 40,000 to 75, but wasn't a double, but still an 80% growth. And then we went from 80,000 to 250,000 viewers. Everything. That's my Instagram, TikTok, and everything. And now from 250,000 to 1.2 million.
Yeah.
And
super
it's like,
nice.
boom, million extra views. It's just because also YouTube.
You make shorts of these podcasts?
Yeah, the shorts will go online.
There you
Instagram,
go.
Instagram, the TikToks and everything. And then you get those more and more views. YouTube as well. Yeah,
okay.
I do my shorts. Don't worry.
There you go. Yeah, and then you can even then grab like 5 minutes of this podcast or 10 minutes and upload it as a clip.
Yeah,
long form.
That's something I've been thinking as well. But the thing is, for my specific channel, I have the feeling that would more hurt the channel.
No, make a
separate channel.
Make a new channel.
But it has 0 subs.
That's fine. But the YouTube algorithm's good.
Sure, let me see if I'll do it. I'll make sure that
you get one for the whole podcast.
The whole podcast on the main channel.
You get one for 5 to 10 minute segments.
Where would you post
your
shorts?
Different channel.
Also the different channel. Because I put shorts now on my main channel as well.
I mean, you can do it if it works. I'm
reasonable.
I've become a bigger fan of just keep it clean.
Yeah.
Right, like you want to do reaction videos, you do reaction channel. You want to do gaming videos, gaming channel. You do shorts channel.
Okay,
so that I hate subscribing to a channel and then they start posting all these other things. I'm like, no. Like
but everything I post is one specific term because what I do is YouTube automation. So everything is related to YouTube automation, nothing else.
Yes, perfect.
So even my shorts is literally, I made a series of 8 steps that brings you from an absolute noob to at least knowing exactly how it works.
Yeah.
8 videos and they go online as shorts because once people go through my shorts, it's like, 8 videos and it's like, they watch one of like any of them and they come back for all 8. Yeah. And then once they come back for all 8, they go to my long form. Yeah. So I could do it on a separate channel, but for the clips, I'll probably do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds good. I'll try it. Let's see how it works out.
We're going to play chess now?
Yeah, let's do it. I think this is a good moment to...
We do it on the podcast? Or,
That'd be funny. Let's do a live stream and everything. That'd be hilarious. I think we covered pretty much everything. We covered the 10 years that I wanted to cover, the YouTube AI. I think the future will also be a lot of AI.
Yeah, we didn't talk too much about the AI,
Yeah.
but maybe for next time.
Maybe for next time. If
Yeah.
if it does well, then we'll do a part 2 and we'll really go into depth of the
Sounds good.
AI and how it works. Because if I see the behind the scenes, at least know a little bit how it works, we can maybe show a few clips here and there, and then talk about why something works and how, in a certain way, like Unreal Engine, and how it works. That will be very interesting. Very cool. Thank you so much for having.
Thank you for having me. Yeah,
I said that. Nice one.
You said it. Yeah. Hey, you're welcome.
Thank you for joining me. And
this is my podcast now.
Very interesting one. All right, and we'll go home and start playing chess.
Let's go.
Let's see it. All right, awesome. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
There we go. Perfect. Thanks.